Hey there, everyone. This is Dawn Lawrence, and I have Melissa Condensa with Guild Mortgage here with me. So we have a bunch of good news, hopefully all good news this week, about the lending side. So Melissa, the first thing that I want to talk about is the Fed fund rate. I saw it was only up 1/4%,
Yep.
which sucks it went up at all, but still. So what does that mean?
Yeah. So what that means is it went up exactly as much as the mortgage market had thought it would go up. So that meant no change in interest rates. And then when Jerome Powell always talks after the announcement, and that's where we get into trouble sometimes. But this time, everything he said was positive. So he basically said, we're getting a handle on inflation. It's going in the right direction. It's going in the right direction consistently. Now, he was very optimistic. And so we still have to have some increases, we think, but they're going to be along the lines of 1/4 point instead of 1/2 point.
And
So
what was that number? 8? Was that the 8th increase?
So 1/4 point instead of 1/2 point. So that was all good. And because of the comments he made, and mortgage rates actually came down yesterday. So they're just below 6% for a lot of people now.
Oh, that's so awesome. And that's very normal, right?
Yeah. No, we're in just normal territory. So these are good rates, good to be a buyer. We think they'll come down farther. Now today the jobs report came out. That was surprising in a good way if you're looking for a job.
I haven't seen it yet, so I've been in training all day.
Oh, awesome. Well, so 517,000 new jobs were created, which was double the expected number and the best number we've seen in something like 39 years. I don't remember the exact, but
In my head, that's amazing news, but I know a couple weeks ago you educated us a little bit on how that's bad news for
yeah.
or the
What the Fed is concerned about is that wage pressure is going to cause inflation to be harder to get under control. So if wages keep getting pushed up, and if the labor market's as tight as it is, then it's taking more money to get someone to take a job, and that's pushing up wages, and that in turn could push up inflation.
okay, because people are getting paid more for okay.
Again, not a bad thing.
Right, not in our heads, right? But I understand how, I guess the economy has to catch up with everything that's happened, right?
It does, and we have to get inflation down to that 2% is the target level, and I think we're at 4, depending on how you measure it, about 4.5 or 5.5 right now. So and that's down from like almost 9. So we're really making good progress.
Okay.
But if our money, if we have it sitting in the bank, is just losing money because of inflation, that's just not good for the economy. So that's we have to get that under control, and it's going to take probably maybe a little bit more pain, but hopefully these 1/4 point increases are enough to keep us moving in the right direction and get to a stopping point at some point here soon. Hopefully without a recession. That would be amazing.
Right. Yeah. So what I was asking a few minutes ago was that was the 8th increase, right? 7th or 8th increase?
Yep.
For the Fed fund. Okay. So we might be looking at a couple more. So we might be looking at 10, 11. Oh, wow.
I know, probably a couple more.
Interesting. Yeah. So we already talked about interest rates coming down, which is fabulous news. I did, I do keep up to date on the market, of course, and I saw that we have a increase of 28% more buyers.
Yes.
Mortgage applications over the last just couple of weeks. Amazing.
Amazing. Yes, buyers are coming out of the woodwork until this week with the freeze here in Dallas.
Yeah. And what I've also seen is we're starting to see scenarios where multiple offers are happening again. I haven't seen anything reported that crazy numbers, over asking or anything, but
no, I haven't seen that either. I have definitely had buyers that are looking and they have been beat out. But not a situation again where I think anyone's paying over asking. It's more like they're paying the asking, they're offering asking, and maybe they're offering to pay the title policy.
Okay.
So I've seen a couple deals recently where the buyer is once again offering to pay for the title policy. But because the market's shifting a little bit, we have actually rolled out an amended 2-1 buy down. So that's the product that allows buyers to have a lower payment for the first 2 years. because that payment is subsidized by, in this case, it would be the seller. And so here, what we've done is if the seller will pay year one, then we'll pay for year two.
Amazing. Wow.
I think this will really help a lot more people take advantage of that, because sometimes that dollar amount of the concession that it takes for the seller to do a 2-year buy down is just a little bit more than they're willing to pay.
Yeah, yeah.
So this way, we're paying for 1 year, they're paying for 1 year, and I think a lot more people will be able to take advantage of this. That puts them with a lower payment for the first 2 years. They're still in a regular 30-year fixed rate, so they've got that security. Now, we think they'll probably be able to refinance out of that in the next couple of years, and probably before they ever get to that full rate. But I just think this is a really good addition to the products that we can offer, and it's going to help more people get into homes with more comfortable payments.
Yeah, marry the home, date the rate, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's great information, Melissa. Is there anything else really cool going on in the market? That's a lot of information.
I know. Yeah, I feel like there's a ton going on. One other thing I want to mention is that one of the down payment assistance programs, TSHAC, is they have rolled out it's a limited availability program. The interest rate is 5.75, and that gives the buyer 3% assistance. So it's technically 4%, but then they charge a 1% fee. So the net is 3. But if you're an FHA buyer, putting down 3.5, that covers almost all of your down payment.
And we haven't seen the TSHAC program for several months now.
We haven't, because the rates have been sky high, and they still are. They're in the 7s.
Yeah.
For this limited program. And really what the goal here is to just help with affordability. So this is for people who are 80% or less of the average median income, area median income. So for Dallas area and surrounding counties, Collin, Denton, Kaufman, that income has to be below 77,000.
Okay.
Tarrant,
a little bit less than what it was.
Yeah. So 77,000, I don't know the exact number, it's about that. And then 73,000 for Tarrant is kind of ballpark where people need to be to take advantage of that. If you fit that mold, this is an amazing opportunity. It's only going to be around as long as the funds are around, and first come first. So
what's the price point of the house that they can look for?
I think for that buyer profile, it's probably going to be 300 and below.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. Still, that's a hefty house payment. Yeah, great.
And one other thing I want to add is that to help with that affordability challenge, we're using the mortgage credit certificate program a lot more than we had in the past. So that takes the mortgage interest, turns it into a credit instead of a deduction, which means bigger tax refund or lower tax bill. So it gives people an extra, sometimes $3,600, sometimes $4,000 that they get back at the end of the year that then they can use to pay their mortgage for the next year.
Nice. Oh, that's a great benefit. That's awesome. It
Yeah.
feels like the market is, prices are no longer dropping. Interest rates are coming down. Inflation peaked a couple months ago. We still don't know if a recession is going to happen. So it feels like we are pretty much status quo to where we should be.
Yeah.
So although homes still have appreciated 6 to 12% higher than they would have had COVID never happened. So you still have good equity in your home if you decide to.
Yes. Be glad.
Yeah. So I think now is a great time if you're thinking of selling to do it. Pull the trigger now, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple months.
We don't.
Buyers are coming out early.
They are. Yeah. I think it was a absolute buyer's market for the last couple of months.
Yes.
I think it's pretty even now.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Melissa, thank you so much. I'm glad we're done with the freeze. I have my door open a little bit. It's been crazy. We've been stuck in the house all week. So I got out a little bit today. Thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to our next little call here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Have a great weekend.
You too.